Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the phone is Ambassador Hazem Khairat, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much for being with us tonight, Mr. Ambassador.
You're welcome. Good evening, Mr. Ahmed, and greeting to your viewers.
Thank you very much. Of course, we did see the participation of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the 34th Annual Arab Summit that took place in the Iraqi capital, Baghdad. How did you see the statements delivered by President al-Sisi during participating in the summit?
Well, at the beginning, I would like to tell you that this summit was extremely important due to its timing and very sensitive period. And the challenges we are facing, the brutal war against the Palestinians in Gaza, and the Israeli intention for forced displacement aiming to ending the Palestinian case, genocide and ethnic cleansing that is taking place without any effective reaction from the international community against Israel. The statement of President Sisi was comprehensive and to the point, and contain several clear messages. One of them was to President Trump, urging him to bear his responsibility as leader of a superpower country to end the humanitarian disaster. And he also reaffirmed his constant position towards different problems that is facing some Arab countries. The problem in Sudan, the problem in Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, Libya. So I think there is a dire need for the Arabs to achieve the solidarity, or to achieve their solidarity and consensus to face such challenges that threaten the national security of the whole Arab world. So for me, I think that the participation of President Sisi, and he gave the summit a kind of a push for the importance of this important event in this time.
Yes, Mr. Ambassador, how did you see the positions of both Egypt and Iraq regarding the Palestinian cause in general, regarding the current situation in the Gaza Strip, and more precisely the importance of reaching a ceasefire and, of course, the delivery of the humanitarian aid to the residents of the Gaza Strip?
Well, I think that there is a consensus between Egypt and Iraq, and there's coordination. And by the way, let me tell you that one of the most important things was that this summit was in Baghdad. And this is very important for the Iraqis to regain their position as one of the Arab leaders. Iraq is a very, very important country, and when Iraq plays a role supporting the Egyptian efforts, this gives a strong push to any kind of movement, of diplomatic movements and diplomatic attempts to achieve anything for the Palestinian case. Iraq is very, very important. So I think that there is a consensus, and not only Iraq, we have to mention other countries as well. But because this summit was in Iraq, so I think that it will have a kind of more for the Iraqis to be more enthusiastic in playing an important role, and we need this role definitely.
Yes.
I want to add something which also we both agree, but this would maybe I'll change a little bit the subject. That I also want to mention here not only the case of Palestine and the problem in Palestine. Also, I want to mention the economic summit, which is very important because I have this experience. I was the representative of Egypt to the Arab League in the time of the first summit that took place, I think, in 2007 or 2008 or 2009 in Kuwait. And I was the liaison officer of this, and then unfortunately it didn't work well because there was no became the Arab Spring and many problems. So I think that the Iraqis played a very important role in this summit in its economic field. And this, of course, economic summit serves for promoting integration and strategic platform to solidify Arab partnership and activate development funds and mechanisms. Also create new opportunities for women and youth This is a breakthrough. Also, they ensure the welfare of children and reaffirm collective commitment to achieving the sustainable development goals. And also, they agree to support various sectors as education, healthcare, digital transformation, tourism, and private sector empowerment, and aiming to establish free trade zone. This is very important. This is very important for the Arab joint work. I really appreciated this very much, and I'm seeing it from far that this is one of the first steps and one of the best steps that is in this summit. Of course, the others are important, but I'm talking about economic, because always we are neglecting this economic issues, which is very important for the solidarity and for the consensus and for the interest of the Arab world.
Yes, Mr. Ambassador, you mentioned a very interesting point. It was not just about one summit that took place in Baghdad or in Iraq. There were 3 different summits that were conducted and were concluded on the same day in the Iraqi capital, of course, with the participation of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. How do you see the success of Iraq in hosting and organizing those 3 summits and the possible outcomes economically and diplomatically for the future?
Well, I followed the Iraqi officials' speeches and statements. This was prior to the summit, and I felt how they are enthusiastic for this summit to succeed, and they did a tremendous effort in this phase. But let me be frank with you, and I have to be frank. I was not very happy with the representation of the Arab leaders. However, I believe, because we will see 5 or 6 leaders. However, and as I told you, as I have an experience as a permanent representative of Egypt to the Arab League, I believe that this is something formal. It's not objective, because the representatives of countries has the authority and green right to take decisions on behalf of their countries. And any statement, when they mention the countries, they don't mention the leaders, they mention the countries. But on the other hand, I think this was a little bit frustrating for the Iraqis, because they did want to see more representatives from, or leaders from countries. However, they worked, they succeed, they did their effort, and I think it's one of the summits that really will have a very good future due to its strong statement and due to the different fields they work on. Of course, let me again say that I understand there are some political, maybe security reasons for this representation or the level of representation, but at the end, the Iraqis, they worked very well. They worked excellent, according to my estimation.
Yes, Mr. Ambassador, also we have seen on Saturday the statements delivered by the UN Chief Antonio Guterres regarding the genocide that is taking place in Palestine and the Israeli occupation forces' atrocities and the genocide that they have committed over the past year and a half and maybe more. Do you think that those statements by the UN Secretary, of course the Chief of the United Nations or the Secretary General of the United Nations would be obligatory to Israel, or they would be just overlooking them as usual?
To be frank with you, first of all, of course, we have to appreciate the role of Guterres, and he is a brave man, and he is a neutral person who is always supporting the Palestinians because they are oppressed. They are seeing what's happening, but unfortunately, and this also due to my experience as a previous ambassador in Israel, the right wing, which is ruling now, they don't want to end the war. They don't want to. Netanyahu, he doesn't want to end the war due for internal reasons, due for his political future. He wants this war to be continued because he knows that if this war ends, he would go to prison. So, and at the right wing, and he is using the right wing because this right wing believes that there is no any right for the Palestinians not only to establish their country, no, to live in Palestine or in this territory. So what I understand that the only one who can play the role, unfortunately, is the internal, although the internal Israel internally.
Yes.
Israel internally, it can work on this. This Israel internally, what we have to do is that they have to, the public opinion in Israel and the people in the street, they have to understand that what Netanyahu is doing is a disaster for Israel. And this was the only thing that would this government collapse. The situation will deteriorate more and more since this, unfortunately, since this government is continuing. So they have to do that. And of course, we have also to mention here the role of President Trump. Yes. President Trump is, as I mentioned, there was a very, very courageous message from President Sisi about to Trump to bear responsibility, and this message is clear. That he has the influence also. But to be frank with you, the UN, they had many resolutions. The Israelis, they are unfortunately, they don't care about this. They don't give it any attention. They're doing what they want, and this is a disaster. A disaster. This brutal war is a disaster. And as I told you, the international community, the European Union, the international organizations, they are refusing this, but Israel, it doesn't care, unfortunately.
Yes.
The United States, internally Israel, they can play a role in this. This is the only thing. And this government, it's a hopeless case. To be frank with you, to get it from me, it's a hopeless case. This government, I don't think that they will accept any kind of peace or any kind of legitimate rights to the Palestinians, unfortunately. So we have to work on this. We have to continue our effort. The Arab countries have to get unified to face this big challenge.
Yes, and finally, Mr. Ambassador, of course, we have seen a consensus by the Arab leaders or the representatives of the Arab states at the 34th Annual Arab League Summit taking place in Iraq with the participation of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi regarding the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip following a ceasefire that will be taking place hopefully in the near future. How do you see the importance of finding a realistic mechanism to be implementing the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip, the delivery of the humanitarian aid to the residents, to the innocent civilians in the Gaza Strip, of course, the ceasefire, an immediate ceasefire that is needed by the residents of the Palestine and the Gaza Strip more specifically. How do you see the importance of all those plans and goals and ambitions? What about the mechanism to be implementing them?
Well, let me start first with the Egyptian initiative, original plan to the reconstruction of Gaza. I think that with this summit, or during this summit, they established a solidarity fund to finance the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip, and urged the international community to participate and to accelerate the process. And I think this is very important. This fund is very important. Look, if we return back to the summit that took place in Cairo in last January, I think, there was a complete consensus. Not only the Arab world as well as the European Union and the UN and all, they were welcoming this plan for the reconstruction of Gaza.
Yes.
And the early recovery. So I think this is a very important, one of the mechanisms I think should be this fund. The other thing is that...
In a minute, please, Mr. Ambassador, because we have run out of time.
No, no, just in regards to
Yes.
to what is happening in Israel and the blockage that Israel is doing, it needs more international pressure. It needs more involvement with the American
Yes.
administration. That there are people dying, people are starving. We have to move more and more, and I think this summit has many clear messages on that. That this is a humanitarian disaster. We have to work more. We have to get involved more with all the international community, and I think at the end, or I hope, I wish, and
Yes,
I pray.
hopefully this will be done, Mr. Ambassador Hazem Khairat, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate over the phone. And this brings us to the end of the program for tonight. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.